sound a little bananas. So welcome to another episode of the Cat and Shock Show. We talk about a bunch of stuff. I'm trying not to cuss. We talk about a bunch of stuff from tech to social things happening, and then whatever comes out of my mouth when Cat's not here. she's not here today, so I got a special guest coming in, my man DJ Journey. Yeah, so I mean, we got a cool topic, and I'm waiting for my man to come through. But I see everybody here hanging out with us, or hanging out with me at the moment. So I've been having these issues with certain things. I'm always having issues. I know it's kind of crazy, but what we're gonna talk about, we all know we got to deal with this within all this pandemic. We got to deal with this thing called the Real ID. And at one point, it was supposed to be set for this year, 2020, that you couldn't travel with any with your old license. You have to have a passport, and or you have to go get a Real ID. So with that, I don't see. My man Journey says he's in. I don't see you in. I'm trying to wait for you to come in, Journey. So let me see if we can fix this technical. My man's trying to get in, and I'm trying to figure out why he's not in. He says he's in. I don't see him. I could have pinned the content. Oh man. Yo, Instagram be like, because we only do this once a week, they be adding things to this. So I had to hit your name to go in. Usually it pops up like you're waiting in the what do you call it? You're waiting in the green room, not the green screen, the green room.
No, I seen Sarah come through here. I was like, yo, man, like, who's all these people in the green room? Like, I'm the guest celebrity guest.
So,
man,
what's up, man? How's it over there? How's it over there in the West Coast?
Man, it's shiny, man. You know, still quarantining though. You know, still wearing masks. You know, walking on the other side of the street when I see people, they're like, oh, whoa.
I don't even walk on the other side of the street. I just run. I run through traffic. I'll be like, here come that dude again. Watch out.
Oh man.
So everybody's good, man. So y'all know this is my man DJ Journey. He's one of the producers he's the producer of the show. And I got Raven Dave that does all the tech work. He throws us up on a couple of platforms. Or tonight we just only gonna do what we doing? I don't know what we doing. We doing Facebook.
What are we doing? Twitch?
And Twitch, Facebook. Also, you got a green screen on Twitch. You got a green screen on Twitch. I'm looking like we saw that background before.
Yeah.
Hey Q, what's up, man? I gotta say what's up to my little one. Q, what's up? He's like, you Q, say something to me. I don't be hollering at the family because
shout me out.
They be trying to get too close, man. So, yo, man. So one of the topics we talked about, we wanted to talk about. I kind of give some of the people a
Real
little heads up
ID.
on the real ID,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's kind of, because Cat put it down. It's kind of been, in fact, it's been in place since 9/11.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But my thing was, they spent all of last year, because I've been doing a lot of traveling, telling us, you're going to need your passport to travel domestically. Now,
Yeah.
me, the conspiracy theorist, that I am,
Right with you.
as I'm traveling, and they was like, at times they was like really hitting people in the head real hard about having it ready for 2020.
Yeah.
And the conspiracy theorist that I am, I'm like, well, why do we need a passport? Why do we need to have our passport to travel within the U.S.?
Yeah.
To me, it becomes, I know me and Kat, we had talked about it, and because she's from Russia, the thing that, as an older person, us coming in, it's like, I get my conspiracy theories, because now I'm like, to fly, you're going to stamp the passports. So are y'all going to really know the minute we get into the airport, or not just the airport, or just where we've been traveling? And where we've been traveling, I look at that as like, so are we becoming what should I call?
Are we becoming Russia?
Are we becoming Russia, Europe? Russia,
country.
and then Kat was breaking down the real ID part. It's like that will replace your driver's license.
Yeah.
So with the real ID, some of y'all that know or don't know, the real ID it's a federal stamped license that you're going to need to travel if you're flying within the continental U.S.
So
all kinds of things goes to your mind based on the fact that, like, why now? And I had a bigger conspiracy theory that we were supposed to do that during, it was supposed to go into effect this year during COVID and all this lockdown. And we went online and said they had pushed it back to next year. So I talk a lot. I wanted you, because you've been brushing up on this. You kind of wrote the script for this.
Shout out to Kat, man, because she really touched on like the Russia thing, and I don't know much about overseas and how they kind of do things, but I know all of those countries are kind of clustered in. So it's like they got their border lines and everything like that. It seemed like a thing that Trump was talking about walls and all of that stuff like that. It's like, are we trying to be like Europe? But we wrote some things on this little questionnaire that it goes back to like 2005 that they've been trying to put this thing in effect. After the 9/11 and everything, they had a little evidence that, all right, cool, we need to like filter some terrorism and try to activate some other policies and everything like that. But it seemed like, man, it's been a thing, and Trump was like the person to kind of activate it, because it was on his list of agendas along with a few other things. But I don't know how.
So as me and you, or even me older, we have never, like, I came up in the world was like there was no security check. You just got on a plane. Now it got to a point like,
let's talk about that, because
I bought tickets early when we was getting down in the mid 80s. Stuff was popping. I bought tickets at the counter.
So you have to physically go to the airport and buy the tickets and then go to the crib and wait for the day
No,
to fly?
you bought no. You
Oh,
bought
you
the ticket
just
the day
you
and
just
got
showed
on
up
the
like a
plane
bus
the same
ticket.
day. Yeah,
Oh,
it's like a
shit.
bus ticket. Flying was like a bus ticket. Some of y'all won't even understand what that's like.
Wow.
So we didn't have none of the problems.
You ain't have Priceline. You ain't had cheap tickets. You ain't have none of that.
Flight. I've done that. I went in the like late 80s, early 90s. I've literally woke up at times, when I was single, I was single. I wanted to go see a couple of chicks. I would just get up, go to the airport. Just go to the airport. No luggage, no nothing. Bought a ticket and bought clothes while I was there. So now dealing with this, my oldest conspiracy theory is like, now it's like not just like an easy pass. It's like they wanted you to have a passport. So because some of us won't, if we have license that don't have to be renewed for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And this goes into effect. I'm gonna say
next
year. It was supposed to go into effect this year, but it goes into effect next year.
Yep.
If you don't have a passport, you're not getting on a plane because they're not accepting your regular license.
Oh.
So get into the real ID and all that stuff. That's the new term, and you notice a chip in it because there's chips in your credit cards. Is going to be a chip in that. So like I said, it becomes it's like a thing. It's like, okay, we're getting less and less privacy because every time something happens, they put that in effect. Like you said, that was in effect. They started working on that in 2005 because of
2005. Yeah, that's what it says in documentation. It's
before 9/11. The Big Brother Act was in effect.
15 years.
Yeah, but before 9/11, they was trying to push the Big Brother Act, and I guess we didn't really have Homeland Security, but kind of like that. They were trying to push that, and Congress kept saying, no, we don't need that. Where we got cameras up all over the place. Now, some people say it's for your safety. Yes, we get that. But then, are they just spying on you to see what you do? So
you know that what's that airline that say, hey, you're free to move about the country? They're gonna have to change that tagline now. That's not free to move around the country.
That's not happening.
A situation going on, man. It's crazy because it's like and you got Russia, you got the Italians, you got the French, and you got the Europeans that's living here now. Is that policy? You think that policy is for them, the illegal aliens that's here? Do we have a lot of them? Are there aliens walking around? Now we get into the
we get into the space. We into science fiction. Listen, stuff is happening so fast now and changing. I don't know what's what. And I know this is like people's like probably like, why are they talking about this? Within all the stuff that we're dealing with, now they're locking you down even more about how you're going to move around the country. I get it when we go overseas because Europe, they have separate countries. Everybody, they're connected, but they're separate countries. You know what I'm saying? So we're states. We're not designed for that. So now I need us, if I didn't have a passport, just come they say they moved it back to 2021. So if I didn't have a passport, and there are some people in America that don't have a passport because some people don't think about flying overseas. And if my license wasn't up for renewal until maybe 2024, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I wanted to just wake up and fly. That means I couldn't get on the plane because I don't have the right credentials come 2021. Don't worry, y'all. It's a year from now, but you'd be surprised how quick a year comes.
That means everybody right now gonna have to visit the DMV to get checked in.
Yeah,
that's what that means. It's everybody have to do it, and that's the thing. COVID-19 and everything like that. They push back the due date to this to like 2021 October, something like that. It's a
Because
whole
I didn't
entire
know
year.
that. I didn't know that until Cat brought it up. Like, no, they pushed it back. I said, no, because when I flew out to where y'all are in January, they were beating people in the head. You got to change you can't come in with your driver's license anymore. You can't do that. I mean, they were beating people in the head hard. And I was like, okay. So I thought it was still on. So I was like, so my conspiracy theory was like, wait a minute. In the midst of, we got COVID going on, and then we got to have our passport to travel. So you know what's going in my head. I'm looking at this like, yo, wait a minute. Now, if you don't travel much or you don't fly much,
it's not going to affect
you. Who gives a shit? You don't give a shit. But somebody like me, somebody like you, we travel quite a bit.
So every day.
We're looking at, and then, we looking at traveling overseas a lot. So, I just thought it would be a cool concept to talk about, because I thought you have to have your license. No, you have to have your passport, because I know what you do when you travel overseas. They stamp in your passports, where you going, what country you going through. Every time you get then all of a sudden, I done filled up a couple of passports. You know what I'm saying? Travel so much, I done filled up a couple of them. So now you got to go back and get a new one. But with
how many stamps do you get on the passport again?
Oh
on
man,
the new ones?
You get a few pages.
Okay.
You get a few. I want to say maybe like 10 pages.
Okay.
And it's, you got back and front. So sometimes they'll stamp each page, like they'll put 2 stamps on the page, and if you're not paying attention, you run out of pages, they'll figure out how to stamp it and say, but you need a new passport. I just say it happened a couple of times, but it happened once to me. I filled up a page.
I never knew that. How like what's the limit of stamps you can have on one page? It just
until you fill up the book. Until you fill up the book.
Till you fill up the book.
Once you fill up the book, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 10 pages. And once you fill that up, you got to go back and ask for a new one. Then because what you got to do, you got to you got to fill it out and send it in, and they tell you, all right, wait like 45 to 90 days before you get it, and all this other crap, and then they go through your whole situation. If you're a convicted felon, I had an issue. I had an issue with that. So it's just that those things, so they can check you. So now, like I said, now we're in a situation. Now it's like is everybody understanding the little small things that are going on, like we're so busy like COVID, and we're protesting, and we Black Lives Matter, and all that's not to be put. I'm not putting that to the side, but while we're doing all of that, I like to bring up the little things that nobody pays attention to, because we are dealing with this situation.
So I got a couple questions. Do you think the Real ID Act is to stop terrorism or to monitor citizens?
In America, we don't have terror. We have domestic terrorism. We don't have as much foreign terrorist act as you in Pakistan, stuff like that. Even in Europe, because you got to understand, you got countries are all connected together, and they traveling through that way. So we don't have that. So I'm trying to figure out, are they monitoring? Yes, we are being monitored. Yes. Yeah. So our Privacy Act, so then it brings up a situation. Why the Privacy Act? Study just posted a lot of countries stop stamping due to better computing and tracking. Yeah, sometimes, sometimes not. But
So with that, there will be an what's that, a RFID chip in there?
Yeah. More than likely, it'll be in the Real ID, which is a form of a new license. It's that. So now it's like we got you monitored everywhere you go, constantly. Like, people saying, well, you're online and you're on the internet. So when you're younger, the millennials and the alphas and the Z generation.
Yeah.
When you born into this system, it's normal for you. But when you're somebody like us, who we have freedom, like really to go about, even though things has been crazy. But like I said, I could just back then, man. No luggage, no nothing. Just get on a plane.
Let's talk about that a little bit, man. Because I know the millennials, they used to the TSA getting checked and patted down and all that stuff like that. But let's talk about the days when they used to smoke on the plane. Come on.
Mama used to smoke cigarettes on the plane.
You're trapped.
If you were slick enough, you went into the bathroom and smoked weed. You smoke some weed on the plane. It was drugs. It was
got the whole plane out.
Back then, we was getting away with murder. Like, whoa, motherfuckers is transporting all kinds of illicit drugs strapped around them. We didn't have to worry about getting patted down. The only time when they really stuck it to you is when you're traveling from a foreign country.
Yeah.
Like going back and forth to Jamaica, they would put you in that room like, yo, go back in there. Because like, your vacation in Jamaica, they know the deal. But if you're going from like, you just took a plane from New York to St. Louis, they didn't, it was like, man, whatever.
You got grenades in your back? What are you
they weren't even thinking about that.
4th of July is coming. All right, go ahead.
Because I don't remember us having a hijacking, if I remember correctly, on American soil.
Yeah.
We haven't had that. So we've never had that. We was kind of especially dealing into continent, just inside of them, domestically rather. We going, it's still part of America. It's not like you went to, it's not like Texas was another country.
Right.
But the way I was feeling when they was talking about your passport, had to have your passport to travel. Now what they're saying, and here's another thing we didn't check or we didn't look to see. Having your passport, they didn't say you couldn't have your passport if you have your real ID. Or they never say like, well, if you have your real ID, you don't need your passport. I don't remember them saying that. But they was making it, they was kind of forcing the mandate of traveling with a passport.
Yeah, as long as your stuff is not expired, even after your stuff expired, you still got 30 days until the expiration date to change that over. Like I flew to Hawaii last year, and my New York ID was expired, and they looked at it as like, yo, this expired. It's like, all right, you go ahead. You got another 30 days on that.
Well, that's if you get a nice person.
Yeah.
And you're going to Hawaii anyway, so that's. I think
that's in the States.
Is Hawaii some part of the United States?
Yeah, it is.
According to Trump, it's not.
Yeah, and
he might have moved him out of being in the United States. But
Guam is a part of the United States as well.
Yeah. So certain people are different, man. I know when I went overseas and I had a buckle, the bomb squad, and I had the buckle was a silver, kind of looked like a grenade.
It said the bomb squad?
No, it didn't say. I wish it did. It was dope. I was trying to get it engraved, but I just had it was just the symbol of it. They took my belt. I was like, I got nothing to hold my pants up. This looks like a grenade. It's a belt buckle.
Wow.
They ain't care. It was like, yeah, wow. You ain't getting on this.
Probably got a TSA dude on the block with it on now.
Yep. we was going from there to Switzerland, and when they took it, man, I was like, what?
Let's talk about that for a moment. Like the stuff that TSA takes, where the hell does that stuff go? Like, are they auctioning it?
They put it in. They throw it in that little canister, and the TSA people take it and take it home.
Yo, they like dish it out between employees.
Let me tell you.
Like I got cologne and everything over there.
My mom had a brand new bottle of white diamond perfume,
yes.
brand new bottle.
Yes.
And they made her put it in the bin. And y'all women, y'all know that white diamond, man. My mom hit the roof. She was not, what? I got this paid. Well, you can't go on there. It was too big. I was like, she was, man. Woo.
Ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
I thought they was gonna lock her up. This is a terrorist.
I ain't never seen no John Varvatos cologne blow up a plane.
Yeah.
Somebody wearing that shit. Somebody
wearing it. I might become a TSA agent just so I can get some free stuff.
Just for the free stuff.
I get some free stuff.
That Rolex watch, that Rolex look kind of hazardous. Get a false that. Man, so check it. Going into like the information and everything like that, everything nowadays, and I know these kids don't know, everything nowadays requires you it requires the terms and agreement and for you to at least put your birthday and your full name up in there. Like, when did that change? Was that a part of the Internet Privacy Act or like?
Well, that became, I think that changed, when the internet kicked in. And then all of a sudden, you started to do more things online. Yeah. And then what happens is they kept asking for it. They would beat you up for it. And then some of those apps won't even let you register unless you put it in.
No, you need full name, email, and
yeah. So it's like so I don't. Somebody said that's not what I call privacy. Yeah, no, it's not. Definitely not. It's not privacy.
No.
Some of those apps make you and force you, but then you get so used to paying the convenience of using all that stuff. Then you just, somebody like me, because I'm always into the technology, you just deal with it. But somebody like that understood what that was and what it's about and not having things the way they can track you now. I mean, now it's like, Cat brought up a point. So why are we fighting over putting chips in the humans? Like,
yeah. And she was saying like, what I guess Cat's like millennial.
Yeah.
She was saying that millennials are so used to giving up their information, they don't think it's a thing. It's like, well, if you don't have nothing to hide, then you should just give up your information. It's like, yo, I know people that don't have anything to hide. They got a hard time giving up their information. When did America privacy slip away? When did that become a thing? Because the internet definitely wasn't created to invade people's privacy.
No.
I mean,
but it is now. It's like what I see it is now. So, we're being watched. So it's like you get used to it. And it's telling everybody, get used to it. This is your new norm. It's weird, since COVID-19, having a lot of cameras costs taxpayers a lot of money. So that's why, especially out here in Long Island, they was disabling some of them and taking it down because, our county exec was saying it's too expensive to run all those. Now I see more and more going up. I saw more and more going up since we've been locked in than I've ever seen before. See, as I said, it's those little things while we marching and we doing our thing and we fighting for justice and this and that. They running around and nobody is questioning why were there so many like cherry picker trucks and Verizon truck. I remember one day I wild out. I was like, yo, the first day they said we was gonna hit the level, I saw so many Verizon and Department of Transportation trucks out there just underground on top of poles doing them like, oh. So
Yeah.
But people say, well, they just fixing things. Like,
what's broken?
all of a sudden,
What's broken?
it's been, some of that stuff's been broken for years. They ain't never fixed.
Yeah.
It's been broken for years. They just left it. So now we're in a position where everybody's doing things. I just keep my eyes open. You know, if there's certain things are serious, like, you know, everybody's dealing with the 5G network and that causes that. We're hearing all kinds of stories. So it's up to everybody to understand what, you know, do your homework. You know, just don't all the time take somebody's word for it, you know, because it's deep. The underground stuff, like, you know, it's crazy. When I drive on the parkway, especially late at night, I seen them fixing some of the parkways around here that they already fixed. So I'm trying to figure out, like, I be having my craziness, man. But like, what are you doing again? You just fixed this last year. You know, sometimes people don't understand. Like, here's one little thing I think they can check you. They can put pressure sensors in roads, because that's why we have truck weighing stations. Truck weighing station over a pressure sensor.
Right.
And you don't understand that.
What is that for? For like speeding or what?
That's the key. We don't know. I don't know what it's for. A truck weighing, it's a pressure sensor that, you know, tells how much your truck is weighing. An 18-wheeler, if it's over a certain amount, I don't know whatever that means. You can't have but a certain amount of pressure on it. So you must be doing something that's over the limit. I've seen, you know, we have pressure sensors at some of the traffic lights. People don't even realize that if you look at the grounds on certain places, you see like a little rectangle thing, and those are to, if you don't roll across the pressure sensor, the light won't change. You sit there, if you don't roll across it, you sit below it, it'll just stay at, if you're on red, it'll stay on red. Oh, we got a few of those in Roosevelt, so I know that for a fact. So I know that for a fact. And we used to always have to go over the little pressure sensor so the light would change. So, you know, they have those things. It's a monitor. It's like, you know, what are they doing? Because I've seen more road work on roads, especially around here where I live at, than that they already fixed. I'm like, you already did this. What are you back here out doing again? You're doing it again.
Oh, man. There's so much technology, and I know that Google has a lot to do with the technology that's being built. I don't know if they're preparing us for the electronic cars or something like that, but it's a lot of tech that's going up, in the 5G and everything like that. And you watch, I mean, you watch the science fiction. You be putting me on all the science fiction. Like, yo, we're talking about 2025. I'm like, damn, that's 25 years from now, but we'll watch it, and then we'll see things that correlate to now.
You know what I think people should check out, man? It's on Netflix. It's called The Last Days of American Violence. It's brand new.
Whoa.
And what they did in that movie was...
It's a movie. It's not a series.
No, it's not a series. It's a movie. Damn. It's a movie.
A biopic or
no?
Or it's a movie.
No, it's a movie. It's like a science fiction movie, but you know, it's a fiction movie. So, but it's called. We like call it The Last Days of American Violence, because what they did was they tapped into the radio frequency in the air, and so how they stop crime is they tap into that. There's a certain frequency that prevents people from committing crime that they figured out. It's on Netflix right now. Wow. Right now it's on Netflix. Just came out. And what happens is when you hit that frequency, and they was doing it in an area, and it was, I think they was testing this like it was in New York. And they zoned out a certain area. And all of it, Manhattan,
freeze
during the riots.
Hug.
They zoned in on a certain of New York City, the tri-state area.
Yeah.
And it's controlled by the police.
Wow.
When you speak, say police, the popo, the police.
Oh.
The proper English is police. So they are what, and it was a high crime area. So when they hit that frequency, it hits them so hard that everybody stops doing crime. So if y'all want to connect that to your so everybody with the conspiracy theories that want to connect that with the 5G network, y'all need to watch that show, The Last Days of American Violence, on Netflix. It kind of moves slow. It's kind of like, but what they're doing.
I mean, is that just for the civilians or is for the police too?
Well, the police is not in the area. It's like what we got now. Remember, cops are quitting because people are going after them saying they're not there. So now we got issues going on with cops with they're walking up the job. They're not coming to the basic 4th of July, you ain't gonna see no cops coming around. They're gonna be shooting up fireworks at 5 a.m, like all night long. And you think cops is gonna come around? They're like, I ain't dealing that ain't a crime to us no more.
I mean, if they updated the surveillance systems, in the communities, then they're gonna see what's popping anyway. Literally.
Well, they're gonna see what's popping anyway. So it doesn't matter. But the fact of the matter is, now you gotta police yourself.
Yeah.
Now you gotta police yourself. Because cops ain't coming through for the basic calls, and they ain't doing that. So that's what's happening. So 4th of July, when everybody got the fireworks, y'all better be ready to it's 2 a.m. and they got the M80s going off, and it's 3 a.m. and they still going off with the M80s. Y'all ain't.
So I mean, it all makes sense, man, because if the policing is going to change and it's going all digital, and then they got everybody in the system and they know the way that they're moving according to the Real ID situation, then you're going to have to police yourself. Because if you're thinking of doing something that's crazy, they're going to already be 5 steps ahead of you.
They're going to be 90 steps ahead of you. They're going to be like, we know where you go. They're just going to catch you when you go to sleep or you go to the gym. when the gym's open up. So it's those things, man. But I just say, like I said, for the 5G conspiracy, everybody need to sit down and check out The Last Day. I mean, the craziness, some of the people know that it was going to go down, but so everybody's trying to get that last come up rather. We can rob this bank and we can come up, man. So, because after that, there ain't gonna be no more. There's be no more crime in America. So you dealing with that, man.
Yeah.
So that's kind of crazy.
So it's crazy because that's if it's no more crime, then there's no more crime divisions. There's no more criminal lawyers.
Yeah. But America ain't gonna ever have that. We gonna have mad crime. Matter of fact, crime gonna go up.
Cyber crime?
Well, you gonna find hackers like, yo, I got that earpiece though, son. You won't even hear that signal. You won't even hear that signal, son. It's made by Apple.
Yeah. So what do you what does privacy mean to you, Keith? Like what does that mean to you as an American citizen?
Privacy means like I should have certain things that I shouldn't have to share or shouldn't be on, shouldn't have to give up. Like I shouldn't have to always give up my birthday to log into something. Right? Why? If I want to feel like I'm 21, and if I can look like I'm still 21, I should be able to not tell you that I'm 58. I should not be able to tell you that. So, privacy is a dear thing, but we came up with privacy. I'm going to my room. I ain't want to deal with y'all. Now we're online 24/7. We are getting you as an older dude. I'm getting used to this life. But as my daughter and they coming up, my youngest daughter, they coming up. This is normal to them.
You don't know better.
This is normal. Like, let your stuff float out there.
It's kind of like I know in the late like 90s, the reality TV was born, where you got the cameras in the cribs and everything like that. The cameras followed you and everything like that. I feel like that was an introduction to where we're at right now, because
when you look at it from that perspective, it was
like the real world is the real world now.
Yeah, it's the real world.
Everything is on tape, whether you're hitting stream or somebody else is streaming when you're outside or taping you or something like that. It's like we live in the real world.
Yep, this is actually the real world. We saw a real murder in real time.
Yeah.
On I want to say on TV, on stream.
Right.
That's like real world. Real world. So
in the real world, you're gonna need a real ID.
You're gonna need a real ID
to move around.
And then some of y'all need to. You better get your real. You better get your real guns and with a real license to carry a real gun. It's going there, and I don't want people don't like, no, it can't go there. We need love. Nah, America is on some otherness. So
yeah,
I mean, America's on some things because we have too many liberals. Man, you used to see what Putin just did to the liberals. He just like shut them all down.
Wow.
He like said he didn't take them out. He just shut them down. He's got the people keeping them in there till 2036.
Ooh.
They all went kind of overturned, and they want him to stay there. I don't know what he did, but he's there. Nobody's gonna go against him.
Do you see America going there? Because I see a lot of similarities to like Trump is trying to be Russian. His wife is Russian. Everything's Russian around him.
No, I think she's Sylvania. I said that on a post. People was like, she ain't Russian.
She ain't Russian.
She's Sylvania. I'm like, you right next to it.
Is that near?
Right next to it.
Okay.
You know, don't we can't say that.
Okay. Well,
you know,
it's out the window.
So everybody, I kind of correct. So everybody's out there watching. I kind of correct myself. She's not Russian. She's Sylvanian.
She's not Russian. Okay. All right. Well.
And then I said, well, don't they speak Russian? No, they speak Sylvanian. Like,
okay. Well,
see, there's a difference. See, I mean, we could move to that. There's a difference that when we call ourselves African American, and I was like, no, I'm black. I'm a black American because I don't speak African. So I kind of get it. I'm of African descent.
Yeah.
But I'm not African because if we go to Africa, you don't know how to speak Swahili.
Yeah.
We know what it is, but we don't know how to speak. So it's like that's the real talk. Everybody's like, yeah, I'm African American.
So with that being said, and this is like one of the last questions. I mean, it's about the data that's going to be collected.
Said black is not a race. Black is a color. And in America, it's about colors. In America, it's about colors. You're black it's either black or white.
Just like this green screen.
in America, that's how we was raised and born and taught, and how they changed it. It's about black or white.
Yeah. So with this being said, the younger generation, they don't really know privacy. They don't know what that is, and this is the new normal. And they're gonna be the children of the future. They're taking care of protesting and everything like that. They're really, really going in against this systemic stuff. Do you think that the future is going to be okay with all of this open policy and all of this open share life? Would it be okay? Do you think we got a bright future ahead of us?
Well, my future's over. I'm old. The change comes with the young ones. No matter, I don't care what anybody say. The change comes with the young ones because they're in a different space than how we grew up.
Yeah.
We grew up with separate situations. They are not growing up like that. And the ones that are being taught that, they are seeing something different as opposed to what they're being taught. Because the young ones is like, let's take our music business, which is a stronghold on, especially hip hop culture, is a stronghold on how things are being done. And I don't care what anybody says, hip hop culture is the #1 culture in the world. So back up. If you don't believe it, get out of here and get off this chat.
It's pretty strong.
So they are, as they said, music calms the savage beast. They are putting, music has brought the cultures, the hip hop culture has brought the different nationalities together in a way that no other music has ever done.
Mm-hmm.
In a big way. What I mean by that, like people tell me what house music has, not in the vernacular like hip hop.
Yeah.
And I know the difference because I've been around. And what I mean by that is, this is a culture that speaks to people that don't have, and this is a culture that everybody emulates. House music is just what it is, music and it's love.
Mm-hmm.
It's a culture of and to 90% of them people, a way of life. This is how we live. This is how we get it. This is what we do to change things. So you can enjoy house music, which I always enjoy. I love it too. But the culture of bringing a younger generation together was that. So now when they're in the studios and they're working, they don't see a color because they're working with Asian, they're working with whites, blacks, Indians. When I mean Indians, like from India. And if you're Native American, you know how to rhyme. You're Latin. You're from South America. You know how to rhyme. They are. Everybody's getting together like on that perspective. Yeah. And they're all in the studios, man. We're all in the studios working with different people. So the younger generation, especially being online, and they kind of like their own boss, and they got subscribers where they sit at home and they're getting subscribers, and that's generating money for them. They don't look at it like the way we do.
Oh, man.
We was like, we had to talk. We talked about last night. People say, why are you taking the word urban out of rap, out of the music industry? But we know why it was put there. And then, we can go back with Frankie Crocker and some of our older people have brought it down, and they talk about Urbano. I think it was not urban, it was called something else. But the bottom line was to let, some of the white reps can now feel comfortable and go rap black music, and didn't say it was black music, that you're looking at a white person saying, well, I got this record and it's black music, and you're looking at, you crazy. What are you doing with that? But when you say urban, it kind of normals the situation. It's like, oh, we got urban music now. Kind of normals the situation. So you normalize it, but you basically putting a stigma in it. So, so the white reps and the marketers, they can go in and push your music to black people or to white people without a problem. While they're saying this is black music, this is urban. So we have that difference. So that's why the young kids are out there together, because with the YouTubes and the Twitches and the TikToks and all that other stuff, they don't Yeah, they don't see the
Like it's a
life the way
lesson.
we see it. You know, well,
Yeah.
I should say the way we see it, the way I was raised or we was raised in my generation. But because of hip hop music, we understood how to work with white, you know, with the white artists. And that started in Manhattan when you had two styles of music coming up that was about the we want to call the undesirables, punk rock and hip hop. Those were the
Yeah. Yeah.
undesirables
Shout out
because
to Rick Rubin.
yeah, the punk rocks was making records in their garage from unconventional ways of going into a plush studio where you got to all that punk rock. They doing it in the garage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like hip hop, we're doing it in the streets. So that's why during those times in Manhattan, we was all hanging out at the same spots. That's how Deborah Harry got into dealing with hanging out with Fab Five Freddy, and she's in the movie Wild Style because that was cool, and it was cool. You know, so you didn't have that. You know, when you had that coming on, it was always there. So that built in. You know, got to the Beastie Boys. Then the Eminems came, and then we the Young Black Teenagers. I'm like, it's music, but that music is trading the world. You know, so why are you mad?
Yeah, and shout out to the Hip Hop Museum and the U.S. Postal Service. We made it to the other side of this, man. And in the words of Chuck D, most of my heroes don't appear on those stamps. They got the 5 elements of hip hop on stamps launched today. So
am I on it?
Came a long way, man.
Am I on it? Am I on
the next move? I think that's the next.
Am I on it?
Yo, I really think that's the next move to have a PE stamp. Come on, they got the hip hop 5 elements. They start putting more and more hip hop faces on there.
But I love it, but that shit don't make no damn sense when we emailing. It don't make no fucking sense. Like we're emailing.
I'm like, man, when the last time I licked a stamp?
Last time you did that.
That's like I'm gonna buy some stamps just to mail some shit out.
And if it's a bill collector, they ain't. Well, the bill collectors might say, "Yo, here's a stamp." Or check out. Well, here's a stamp. You owe some card note payment, but here's Rakim for the stamp. He got Rakim for the stamp.
Paid for.
Like,
Here you go. Wow. Hey man,
I'm kind of real. Like I don't like. It's cool. Well, we ain't.
I thought about it, man. Raven Dave sent it to me. He's like, "Yo, man, this thing." I checked it out. I'm like, "Yo, this is dope, man." Especially according to the Chuck D line. I'm like, "But hold up."
According to that,
we on an email.
Yo,
and then the post office is damn near out of business. Is this a chess move?
It would be dope. It would be dope if this was like 89, 90, 92. Yeah, I'm getting like, yo.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
I was like, we emailing.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know, man.
It's just a picture now. Like, oh, that's cool.
Hey, for all you stamp collectors out there, man, you got your wish.
Yep.
But yeah,
all right, man. I think we're gonna
go ahead and close this thing out, man. Yeah.
We got another show coming up called The Wind Down with Nicki and Nas. Not Nas the rapper, Nashira. We call her Nas.
Not Nas from Queensbridge.
Not Nas from Queensbridge. No. Nas. So well, listen, guys. I just sometimes me and Journey we come up with things, and I like to bring up issues, and I like to bring up issues that nobody really thinks a lot. You know, obviously they think like the small things that people don't pay attention to. And I'm always paying attention to the small things because that's what gets us. It's the small things. We're so busy focusing on the big thing. We're focusing on social justice and rights, but when they do the backdoor stuff, so it's like, yeah, but we took away this, so you can't do. They took away something that we really need, and we wasn't paying attention because we're focusing on the bigger picture, or the picture that we make bigger, and the whole thing about. I think I found out living in America is paying attention to the details. It's the details. You don't pay attention to the details, that kills you.
Yeah.
It's the details like the fine print that you will never read because you ain't never gonna read it. It's like,
yeah.
And then when you read it, it's worded in a way where if it's not worded in how you can contextualize it, you don't even know what the hell it's saying. Like, it's like a goddamn contract.
They get it.
Like, you need a lawyer to come in and put the contract in a terminology that you understand. And hopefully we don't do that and mess that up.
We're gonna need internet lawyers because I'm sure everybody on this chat has never read the terms and agreement to Instagram. So break that one down.
That's why I became right now I'm a huge fan of what's the nasty kid name? I forgot his name. What's the nasty kid?
You talking about Sean? Sean. Yeah.
Because I think we're in a world where all that technical stuff can go out the window. All that fine print is about the cash app, the cash and carry. Yo, you can cash app me. Don't send me no check. Don't send me this. I gotta put it in. Just cash app me. I'm good.
B2B. No more C's and D's. B2B.
Because the next time somebody need me something, you cash at me. Okay, we're gonna send you a check, and we're gonna no. I'm trying to get my publishing company to stop doing that. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. On the damn check for you guys.
Well, man, there you have it, man.
Cash out the Venmo now. I get it in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But yo, so we gonna wind this down, y'all, because I can sit around here, me and Trey, we can talk about stupidness all day long.
Hey,
we will get there
with this though, Keith. What was the name of that show you want everybody to check out? You need to check this out.
The name of the show y'all need to check out: The Last Days of American Violence. It's on Netflix, and you gotta check it out. If this is for all the people that think the 5G network is fucking with us, and got some hold on us. Well, that's kind of what they're doing. And they made a movie about it before we started talking about it. Before it became a big thing during the pandemic. So the movie is out. So we're done.
Check that out. This concludes the Cat and Shock Show. Definitely check Keith Shockley out tomorrow on Tequila Thursdays. Definitely check out Raven Dave on Saturdays. And we have the Saturday Night Disco Dance Party happening every week.
And we got Journey coming in on Fridays. So Journey be just coming in on any kind of days. I'll be trying to figure out what time you on.
I'll be trying to get my stream stuff together, man. You know, and then, working out, doing push-ups.
So check out Nas and Nikki. Nikki is N2MC. And they got the wind down, and it's coming up right after we get off. So check that out. Go to N2MC. I think I'm saying that thing like called the wind down. All right, y'all. See you next week, and see some of y'all tomorrow.
Oh man, Jimmy Bars on
MAC. It's Nikki's N2MAC. Check out the wind down. they better not talk about me either, y'all. Y'all tell me if they do. I see.